So today we will be seeing high frequency common source amplifier. So you can see this is V6 R6 with capacitor 1 here and R2 connected with gate of the MOSFET. This is called MOSFET. This is called gate. This is called drain part. This one, and this is called source part. So then with source we have a coupling and capacitors. We have capacitors here and here CC2, R2 and RL. If we want to make high frequency common source amplifier, we would be given with coupling and bypass capacitors. So in common source amplifier the source would be grounded. So we will just short circuit them. If we short circuit them, so then this capacitor don't remain. You short circuit them and you can see that this is shorted, this is shorted and this is shorted. So this becomes a ground. So you can see that it is now the high frequency common source amplifier. We short all capacitors. So now we will draw its small signal model. To draw a small signal model, we will use the pi model configuration. We will use the pi model configuration. You can see that it is V6. You can see that is V6 here. With R6 we will draw here. This is R6. This is our resistor, I guess, R1. We will include capacitors here. It is CGS. This will be our CGS capacitors. This will be our CGS capacitor and a bridging capacitor CGD capacitor would be placed here. Then this GM VGS current source, GM VGS current source, we will draw it here. We will just place it here and and that just this is our ground, and we will just make it in a one combination, which will be call it as I didn't ground this. You can see that emitter here is source here is grounded. The source area is grounded, so it is V6. It is V6. That is your R6. R6 here. This was your R1. This is your CGS capacitor. This is your CGD capacitor, and this is your RL. I will just say that RL phi is equal to R2 is in parallel with R1. One thing I want to tell you that in that area there is also a high frequency capacitor. I have not placed it, but you can place it here in parallel with this, and we also include that early effect resistance R0. If you include early effect resistance here, I am pointing out between R2 and RL, so we will use the same combination and it will become RO. If you use early effect, I will draw it like, if here it is, there is also a one resistor, you can name it as early effect resistor RO. So this was the whole procedure behind it. We short all capacitors in common source area is grounded. You will see that it becomes grounded. In most cases here it is a resistor is connected and capacitor is connected in parallel, but I straightly connected a capacitor and grounded that one. This is your drain part area. Here R2, R0, RL are in parallel. We replace it by this, and after that we replace it with the pi model. This is called pi model. You must be confused that it is R1, so it is R1. I mistakenly written it as R2, but it is R1. Don't need to confuse them. Draw the capacitors here, CGS, CGT. This is your current source, GM, VGS, and this is the combination. You can also include the high frequency capacitor known as CL.